So welcome everybody to this latest video 162 Maths, and in this video we'll be going over a quick topic test with a collection of exam style questions on quadratics at foundation level. Now a copy of the questions for you to have an attempt at before watching through this video is available for you to download by clicking on the link in the description, which I strongly recommend you do to see how much understanding you have on this topic. So before we get started working through this test, it's worth noting that all of these questions are deemed to be non-calculator. So let's get started on question 1. So question 1, and let's just zoom in a little bit. So question 1, all we need to do here is expand the brackets. So for this, we can either use a grid or we can use loops. So I'm going to go for the loops. So we go 2, and I tend to write the letters in alphabetical order. So if you wrote YX, that wouldn't really be a problem. It's just a way of doing it. And then here we've got 2 times 3, which is 6, and Y times Y squared, which gives me Y cubed, to give me a final answer of 2xy minus 6y cubed. Moving on to question 1b, it says to factorize, so we need to put into brackets. Looking at the two terms, there's nothing common with the numbers. However, both terms have got an x. So I write my x. So what do I have to multiply x to get 8x? Well, I need an 8. Plus, what do I need to multiply x to get 3x squared? Well, I need a 3x. And moving on to question 2, which looks at indices. So again, when we're multiplying, we add the powers, so that's going to be a to the power of 9. When we're dividing, we take away the powers, so it's 9 take away 3, which is 3. And when we're multiplying, when we've got brackets, sorry, we multiply, so that's going to be a to the power of 6 times 3, which is 18. Moving on to question 3, so here we're factorizing a quadratic. Now with this, what you're looking for is two numbers that multiply together to give you minus 15 and added together to give you 2. Now looking at 15, we either got 1 and 15, 15 and 1, we've got 5 and 3, and they're the only combinations we've got. Now there's no way of me making 2 from using 1 and 15, so that's out of the way. So it's definitely going to be 5 and 3. Now to determine the signs of the 5 and the 3, all we need to do here is this is the sign of the bigger number. And this is, if it's plus, they're the same sign. And if it's minus, it is different. So here, because this is a plus, it means the 5 is going to be a plus. And because the second symbol or sign is a minus, that means the signs are going to be different. So it's going to be plus 5 and minus 3. So x plus 5, x minus 3. And you don't really need to do it that way. If you can do it in your head, brilliant. You'll only get 1 mark for the first bracket being correct, 1 mark for the second bracket being correct. And again, you could write those brackets in any order. Question 4, we just expand the bracket, so that becomes like so. So we've got y squared minus 3y plus 4y minus 12. So then simplifying that, we get plus y minus 12. Now if you stuck a 1 in front of that y, that will be absolutely fine as well, but typically speaking we don't need it. Then moving on to our last question. So this is going to be a complicated rearranging the formula question. Reason for this is because we've got two x's. So what we want to try and do is get all our x's on one side and everything else all on the other. So I'm going to take this cx over to this side, and I'm going to take this by over to the other side. So that then leaves me with ax minus cx equals by minus dy. So let me just neaten up that by. Now if you wrote minus dy plus by, then that's absolutely fine, because I'll be honest, we're not going to do anything with that right hand side. It's all about the left hand side. So from this, let me just put that in brackets, or you can write minus dy plus by. Again, that's absolutely fine, but it's this that we need to work with. So while we've got all our x's on one side, what we now need to do is convert those two x's into one x, and we do that by factorizing. So I've got x, and then brackets a minus c, and then we've got by minus dy, or minus dy plus by. And then what we then want to do is take that over to the side by dividing. So x equals by minus dy, all divided by a minus c. And if you've still got the brackets, that's absolutely fine. Or you could write it as minus dy plus by over a minus c. And again, either of those answers would be absolutely fine.